There's Angela, Brian, Patty, good to see you all. Everybody's finished grabbing some Los Aces tacos, and then we'll get started. Just letting you guys know what's going on.
Okay.
There's Miss Angela.
How are you?
I'm good.
I'm feeling a little early. I'm closing
Okay.
today.
You did what you
Maybe
did.
I'll just sit.
Are you ready?
Well,
Let's get started.
are you doing training? You're doing training, right?
Our next 9 days today.
Brian, everybody's
Are you doing?
Just wait online. Brian, Angela, Patty.
hi.
Yay. Angela. Oh, is she back already? She was on a cruise, right?
I'm back already.
How was it?
Well, in
Uh-oh.
typical Angela fashion, I almost missed the boat, but I held the boat and I made it back on.
Hold your time.
I want details.
Will do.
All right, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. Today, we are talking about our core value, which is we are problem solvers, not problem identifiers. We encourage critical thinking and a proactive approach to handling issues. Asking for help is encouraged. It must be done in the context of also thinking of solutions on your own. If we're bringing an issue or problem to a team member, we must think of ways to solve it. Here's the bottom line of how I connect this to our AI summer. Information is everywhere. AI problem solvers are rare. So don't leave a conversation by proving how much you know. Lead it by helping someone make a better decision. And today we have Ryan.
Today we're-
I was wondering, I don't know how long it
Oh, sure.
Ryan Stewart is my primary loan officer. He is probably Taj's least secondary. Anyway,
Can't get my car to rapid rescore now.
Ryan, the floor is yours, brother.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much. Who do I have online? Sorry, I was like,
Brian, Angela.
I'm sorry, Angela. I misread your text this morning. I thought you were going to meet me at the office.
Yeah.
Sorry, just kidding. Anyway, good morning. If you didn't get a taco, please grab something funny. So, I always love being here. Yes, I think I work with mostly everybody here or have, so I appreciate that. A couple things just I casually want to talk about is obviously rates continue to be obviously the bane of our existence, or at least mine, that it's constant conversation. Today, the Fed is meeting or wrapping up their meetings over the last couple of days. Inflation continues to be an issue, so there's not really any, I would say, change on the horizon for the Fed as far as what that's going to look like. Not that they affect obviously mortgage rates immediately, but the Fed rate that does impact where the market is and what mortgage rates are going to do. So probably what we'll see today is even if the Fed stays where they're at, which is kind of the consensus, is we'll probably see rates take a little bit of a uptick for a couple of days, which is typical. So I always tell people, I try not to lock anybody the week of a Fed meeting, just because you really don't know where you're going to be a couple of days before and a couple of days after. We usually see a little bit of an uptick. So hopefully Monday, Tuesday, we'll come back in line. But we're really hovering in that mid 6-ish, higher 6 range right now until Iran starts to calm down a little bit or go away or whatever that situation looks like. Literally headlines every day. And when I say rates are changing, that's not so much that your consumer would necessarily notice or even you as an agent would necessarily notice. Really, every rate is available every day. And then I'll wrap this up on rates. But what it means is, like, if your rate was available today at 6.5, and that was going to cost you a buyer $1,000. Let's say tomorrow rates went up, that 6.5 may actually cost you now $1,200. Okay, so it's really not so much that the rates are changing; it's the cost for the borrower to get into that specific rate, and that's where the difference comes from. And so, as you're talking to borrowers, maybe they got 2 or 3 months ago, and you tell them, "Hey, we're at a 6.4." Well, now that's a 6.875. And so we have to walk them through those differences and what that looks like.
So should we put a spin on that? I mean, to present the client?
Well, yes, I'm going to cover that. Yes, absolutely. I would just say in general, I try to shy away from rate. I really try to drive the conversation to what is it you're trying to achieve? Okay. What is it that you want your house payment to look like? What's your budget as far as that's concerned? What does the house do for you at the end of the day? Because the rate, again, it's so temporary. You're buying a house for a long-term investment. Again, 5 years, 7 years, 30 years, whatever you're going to stay in it. But your rate is very temporary. And we're going to come back and refinance that. And we can talk about my rate refinance to, what that looks like. But I would just say, try to drive them to, hey, what is it that your budget looks like? And what is the house payment you're comfortable with? And then let's work around that, and not so much just because some people do, they get so honed in on that one number. And it is a big part, but it's not the only part of their transaction. So you got to, so just some thoughts about that, because people do ask about rates every day. Obviously that's the call. So a couple of things I have also gave you as a handout is the first one is the right home starts with the right team. And this is just a highlight about, obviously I've worked with, 6th Avenue for a long time. I know you guys are such an amazing brokerage. And so this just highlights really some of the strengths between 6th Avenue, American Funding. We obviously are still a privately held mortgage company, one of the top 10 in the country. Our owners are still very involved in mortgage lending and regulation. Patty and Rick are in Washington and advocating very frequently on fair lending and fair housing and all of those different topics. So just to talk about that. And then the other thing I want to talk about is a couple of things that are continue to plague, I think, buyers and or sellers or people just have questions about is down payment, because the myth of you have to have 20% down, that continues. And that's not true whatsoever. And so I did highlight TSHAC and TDHCA, which are two down payment assistance programs. They're both very, very effective at helping, especially first-time home buyers, and I would say lower to moderate income borrowers get into houses with little to no money out of pocket. Okay, and especially when you combine down payment assistance programs with some seller concessions, which is an easier sell right now in this market. You literally can get people into houses sometimes with no money, or on the loan type, you can actually have them getting money back at closing. So the last thing on here I want to talk about too is NAV cash. If you've got houses sell, or if you've got a house sitting on the market, you've got sellers that need to move on to their next house, but they can't get their house sold, or maybe they don't want to sell theirs yet. Maybe they've got it paid for, and they're like, hey, I don't want that transition period of finding a temporary housing and all that stuff. That's honestly more and more I see is people want the 60 days to fix up my house, get it sold, or not have to stress about it. And so NAV cash allows New American Funding to go and purchase the house for your borrower as cash. They lease it back from us for a 60-day period while, again, they're selling it, and then they move in. We modify their loan into their 30-year fix, just like they would have been any other time. That can work for VA or conventional borrowers. You can't do it on FHA because the FHA flip rule. So if you've got a borrower that maybe they are a little concerned, or they found the perfect house, but they don't want to take a contingency on the selling side, whatever that looks like, we can do NAV cash to help them pay cash for that property and get in there. And there's a couple caveats to it. They have to be underwritten. Their house has to be on the market and stuff like that. But really, once you get it started, it's pretty much one and done. And you, as the agent, get paid the time they close on the cash transaction. So within about, I'd say 7 to 14 days, depending on what that looks like. And then I'll take them through the rest of it, and they'll get.
So didn't you do one?
Yeah. And I actually done one recently. Not that she's here, but there's another agent y'all know. If you want to ask, Heidi Mayer just did it. We just did it. Jen and Clarissa both just had clients that are teed up for it, depending on what that looks like. So they just took the class and went through it. So I think from when Brian and I did it, Brian has a great feedback about the process. This is a change, and I think we did that. And so I think these last couple I've done have been, again, really smooth. And then they're just set up, and then they have time to sell their house and do all that stuff. So NAV cash, DPA programs, great ways to, again, 2 different sets of borrowers, 2 different solutions we're coming up with. But those are things that we just see prevalent in the market right now. So the other flyer I had in here really quick is just one about residential appraisals. There's a lot of misconception on appraisals. I had an appraisal class, was it last week?
Yeah.
Or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was.
There.
Most everybody was there, but I think there was really good information in it. So I did want to include that for anybody who couldn't make it. We are looking at doing this again in the fall. But again, appraisals are such the linchpin to everything we do on the lending side. If we have to have an appraisal, then we want to know what those are, what reconsiderations of value are, because I've actually had 3 this year. That's the first time I've had actually low appraisals. 3 this year. That's all, luckily, knock on wood. And so we've had a couple of those we had to do reconsideration of values on. And so it's important to know what that process looks like, because it's not just, I don't like the number. Okay, that's not the reconsideration value we're telling an appraiser. And a lot of times, and a couple of them I did, that's really what we got. And it was like, well, if we can provide information to the appraiser, they can change their purview and their perspective. But without that, they can't. It's not just, well, we don't like the number, it doesn't work for everybody. Well, that's not the process. So I included that. And then the last thing really is a price reduction versus seller concession. And again, this is such a hot topic and hot button that you've got sellers trying to figure out, should they drop the price of their house? Should your buyers ask for seller concessions? And so I kind of highlighted option A and option B. Option A is obviously seller reduces the price by $10,000. And what does that math look like? Well, ultimately, it's about $75 to $90, again, depending on all of the different metrics we have in a loan, a month in savings, versus scenario B, which is the seller is offering closing cost assistance of $10,000. Ultimately, for the seller, really the same thing as kind of what they're going to get out of the property, but it does help the buyer, certainly. It helps you as the agent. Again, you're going to keep your commission because it's based on a percentage of your purchase price. Same thing with me as a lender. And it helps the buyer, I think, tremendously more that out-of-pocket upfront than the $75 that they potentially are going to save every month. Just to kind of side note, that's one of the videos I want to work on, is doing a video taking $75 at McDonald's, put on a table and go, this is what we're arguing about. This is why you're not buying a house today. This, that kind of visualization, because I think people don't understand. They just think rates, and they hear 600. I can never buy a house. It's going to be, it's terrible, whatever. So just a little bit of the math behind really where seller concessions can make such a difference and help bridge that gap for so many people, because DPA is great on the front. That front slide I sure gave hand out. It's amazing. But if you can't get them to the rest of the way, DPA is only going to cover them so far. And so that's why seller concessions can really make a difference. Again, on those first time and borrowers.
But they can't have both.
They can, absolutely can.
Oh, really?
You can absolutely do DPA and seller concessions. Absolutely. In fact, we should, because like I said earlier, that absolutely can be the difference of people bringing potentially some money or no money to the table. And FHA and VA, you can actually, the borrower is allowed to get money back at closing up to what they have put into the transaction. So if you get seller concessions in DPA for, let's say, an FHA client, and at the end of the day, all the numbers work out and they've got $1,000 left in those credits, they can actually get that back at closing, assuming they paid for their appraisal, they put down earnest money, that kind of thing. So they are a great thing to combine those two things.
I got a question.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Hey, Ryan, can you, I know you blew through that pretty quickly. I'm just now experiencing it. On a VA, you said that they can get back as much as they put into the transaction. So if they go ahead.
I was gonna say up to their earnest money and the appraisal cost.
Up to the earnest money and the appraisal cost.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then, so pretend with me for a minute, we have an appraisal, pretend for me that we have a seller concession, agreed to seller concession after repairs that exceeds that amount. Where does that money go?
Well, if you ultimately can't use it, if it truly exceeds the allowable amount, especially by VA guidelines, you're not gonna be able to use it. So like if you ask for, it doesn't go anywhere because you can't do it now. They could maybe buy a warranty. I mean, you can start, there does become a point, Patty, and this maybe is what you're running up against. There does become a point in which you can end up just with too much money. And I know that seems crazy, but there does become a point, especially on like a VA loan, where you just have asked for too much. If you've asked for like 5% in purchase price, VA only allows to 4%. So you're just not, ultimately, like I said, you can have them do the appraisal, you could, or home warranty, you could actually adjust the purchase price. That may be the way to actually do the same thing, but in a different way, reduce your seller concessions to X dollars to meet that and then say, okay, now let's reduce the purchase price by, because ultimately at some point you could be to where there's not enough stuff to be paid for by law that is allowable, that you just have too much money to deal with.
Okay. And thank you for that explanation. I just had this happen. I'm on the seller side and we got the seller's disclosure yesterday, and I thought this is probably what happened. So I feel like what happens is it just comes back to the seller. The seller just nets more. So you're representing the seller. Yes, that's absolutely what would happen. Yeah. I
drop in the box. I didn't know which side you were on. So
yeah, no, we didn't. I would just say this buyer agent wasn't very in tune with what the max was going to be, and that's not my side of the deal. So, but thank you for that explanation. We just wanted to make sure.
Of course. Yeah, but that's a good point. Always important to know when you're negotiating for your buyers, don't negotiate more, because they're going to be real upset later on if they don't get to utilize all that.
Agreed. Thank you.
Know what loan you're working with and what that looks like. And just, if you have a question, call your lender.
That's right. Thank you.
Just ask.
That should be.
It's an easy ask.
I
mean,
I
but-
always call and ask, give me a reason.
Just to make sure. Because it can change, like on FHA and stuff, and, you know, I don't want to drive, we don't have to go down that, but yes, I mean, just always confirm so you make sure that situation, so. Anyway, what else?
Good point. I have a
Yeah,
question.
yes, ma'am.
When because I feel like to your point, you were asking if you could do DPA and concessions. And I think that's probably a really pivotal thing to getting younger people into a house now.
Absolutely.
Like they have the credit, they just don't have the capital.
100%.
So I think that's a great marketing point to be like, hey, we can, I mean, basically, I know we hate to say this, we can get you in for almost 100%, right?
Mhm.
I don't say that, but you know, I mean, but like at minimum cost, but what does because ultimately, like we're working on a file right now, that's probably going to be DPA,
Right.
all concessions. But she makes great money, has great career, whatever. But what does the refinance look like out of down payment assistance?
3-year forgivable. Both of the T-Shack and THC, which I put out there, are both 3-year forgivable. So if you're in the house for 3 years, then that amount is forgivable. There
Good
is a
point.
second lien option, so you can actually do a second lien also. So if you wanted to have, let's say your mortgage payment, and it's part of your payment, but let's say you can layer that in there and it's $120 a month, you can pay that $120 a month for a forgivable period as well, and then it's forgiven. So there's different options.
I see.
But
Will
most
you
of the
buy
time,
yourself out of it?
you can, yeah, and you can really refinance. It's prorated. They're going to prorate that, whatever. Yes, that conversation is always had up front with, hey, this is a 3-year forgivable. There's a class that the buyers have to take. So again, there's a certificate. So it's you heard this from somebody, because you know you hear a lot of stuff in mortgage. So you want to make sure that. But anyway, so good questions. I know I've taken up.
No, this is
okay,
great.
I'll make sure.
Everybody has Ryan's number, but I'll make sure it's in the brokerage
Absolutely.
announcements channel. I text Ryan when I have a problem and he responds to me. So I think he will do the same thing for you guys too. He's a wonderful lender, a wonderful friend, and we're very appreciative.
Well,
Thank you for the
absolutely, I
time.
appreciate you guys. If you need anything, just holler. Go to tacos.
Thank you, Ryan.
Bye.
Bye, Ryan.
Me too. Yeah, I'll say good time.
Okay, well, while they're grabbing some tacos, I'm going to move ahead and talk about some really cool stuff. Next week, there will be no meeting. If y'all want to meet up here and have coffee and talk shop, I'm fine with that. Drew will lead the discussion. He's in charge next week, so. But yes, I will be probably under that umbrella right there. I'll be on the beach next. Wednesday.
Where are you going?
We're going to north of Playa from Maroma Beach. 2 weeks, breakfast with Scott Summers and Blind Logics. If you don't know Blind Logics, I encourage you to be here. Really cool people, plantation shutters, mechanical awnings and shutters and automation. They do a bunch of that stuff. Yeah, you need that. 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away, we'll have Alex Offutt and Legion's Capital be here. That is Build Your Website with Claude Jamie Day. And so Jamie will be doing that. I am going I may have you do this job here. I'll show you how to do this thing, because I think I'm going to go to Mansfield 1 week and just kind of sit down with them and lead the discussion from there, and you just broadcast here. So sometime in August, it may be the last week of the month when we'll do that. Or I may do it that day that we do the website. No, because we all got to be here. You have to be here on the 19th to get Jamie to show you the Claude stuff. We'll broadcast it, but we're not going to be able to offer assistance remotely because it's just too much stuff. But Jamie's going to take us through that. If you're looking at this, you might see a new link right here. All of our signs are now online. You need the QR code to get there, or go to this website right here. You will log in. You will create your username, your password. There is a complete website that has our signs, our riders. You can do.
Oh, you mean ordering?
You're ordering your own
okay.
signs, frames, and I got them to do a set price.
Will you move it up just a little bit? QR code getting cut off.
I don't think it can.
Later.
And shall I go ahead?
I wanted to do it now.
Now.
The QR code makes you sign in. What kind of username and sign in do I need?
You have to create
Will you
one.
just send that to me?
Oh, not the email.
It's because we have Androids, isn't it?
Give me a second. I don't know why it's doing this. Hang on. Window.
Sorry.
Where it went. Well, it's just not letting me do it. So hang on a second while I get this back up. Yes, you can create your own username, your own password, there on that site. I have no idea what's going on, guys. This is so weird. It's not letting me get back into it.
Just Angela.
It's the Android.
Hey, Angela.
No, it's not Android. I'm on Mac.
It's because
It's,
she has the Android.
it's
and
An-
she
yes, I
needed
messed it
this,
up.
And now it's all
I messed it up.
dribbling down.
Messed it up, guys, sorry.
Oh, it's you.
I know.
I don't know what happened. Are y'all still online? Can y'all hear me? Somebody give me a thumbs up. Okay, good, thank you. I don't know why this is doing this. It's like went someplace else. I can see it, but it won't let me pull it up.
Sorry.
So this is just wonderful. Y'all bear with me a second while I figure this out. I apologize.
Believe in
Okay.
you.
Excuse me?
So we believe in you.
Oh, I don't know what's going on. This is so strange.
You got corrupted?
Well, I tried to make it full screen so Holly could get the,
I know, I screwed it up. Putting him.
What are they now?
transcribing, that's good. And then, but it won't let me pull this meeting up. Okay, there it goes. All right, now I'm back. All right, so now I can go back here. For some reason, PowerPoint just totally shut down. I apologize.
Go in the middle.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I don't know why it does that little thing there, but that's the best I can do.
Andrew gave it to me.
Okay, you can go to this website too, 6av.spt Fort Worth, that's signs by tomorrow, fortworth.com. Our sign company is located
Is that the one, same one off of 820?
Hazel Avenue and 820. And Andy and I have been working on this for almost 2 years to get this website built. And that we were finally able to get it done where you can actually see everything that's there. Actually, I can pull it up so you guys can actually see it. That would be kind of cool if I didn't plan ahead, but you know me. Let me go to signs. Let me present this one. Okay, so let me present this
Glad the
differently.
link's not live.
No, the link is not.
Let's click it.
Okay, there it is right there. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you get there and you create your username and your login. Just click create an account down in the bottom right hand corner, and then it'll take you here. And this is what it looks like. This is our online store. You can get A-frames. They've got business cards if you want them. We've got our design construction. They've got the flags. They've got the retractable banners and table covers.
What?
Everything is available there, and Andy is handling all of it. He's real excited for you guys to see this. So I told him that I was very happy about what it is. For instance, if you go here, that one's $192.92, and then you can go in and put your artwork or whatever you want to do on the actual banner.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not just that banner. It's just this, you would give them information.
So
And-
basically it's a blank canvas.
Yeah,
You can custom it.
you can customize it and give them the information that you want to give them.
Is it additional or?
Yeah, it would probably be a little bit extra and a little bit of tax, but yes, that's the base price. So we just didn't put all of our logos and stuff up there. I didn't feel like it was really worth it to do all that.
That's
So
good.
it's optional. You guys can just do that at your convenience. Talk to Andy. Andy will do whatever he can to make you guys very, very happy. Okay, let's go back to our meeting and let me close that window and go here. All right. So I want to remind you that the Agent Hub is up and operational. You can access this week's move right there. That's the QR code. I'll put it high enough on this one. I just didn't do it on the other side. I apologize, Holly.
She's all.
But the Agent Hub, I probably in September, I'll start moving the backside over underneath the hub. Or everything will be alphabetized and organized, and you'll be able to search for anything. I'm also going to be putting a search into our YouTube channel so that if you wanted to go and find a video that we've done in the past 3 years that has something specific, you'll be able to search it and be able to find that video. That's all going to be in the Agent Hub coming up in the fall. Here is the national update. Life events, not interest rates, are driving today's market. Mortgage rates remain near 6.8. This morning they were at 6.76% for the conventional. Purchase applications continue rising. Americans are still buying homes because of marriages, growing families, new jobs, downsizing, other life changes, not because they're waiting for the perfect rate. Consumer confidence is becoming just as important as affordability. While affordability has improved, buyers are moving when they feel confident about their job, income, and long-term plans. Housing decisions are being more personal than purely financial. This week's outlook, what's the Fed's message? Not just the decision. No rate change is expecting at the upcoming Fed meeting. Instead, markets will be listening for clues about inflation and the path of future rate cuts. Even a small shift in expectations can influence mortgage rates over the coming months. Here's the prompt. Client says, I'm waiting for rates to come down. Help me respond with empathy while exploring whether their life goals, not just interest rates, should drive the timing of their move. That's a great prompt to run it through your AI. And I'm so excited that you have been using Claude. You're now in a relationship. So happy about that.
Me and Claude, well, we're not going steady yet, but
You will.
we're just getting to know each other.
You will. Here's our local market update. DFW buyers are becoming more selective, not disappearing. Inventory has reached a more balanced level across North Texas, giving buyers more opportunities to compare homes before making an offer. Well-priced, well-presented listings continue attracting strong interest. Overpriced homes are still sitting longer. We're going to hit this one again on Clarissa's view in just a minute, because that headline right there is important for what we're seeing in the market. Let's move ahead. Tarrant County, price reductions continue creating opportunities. This week's market pulse shows 816 price reductions versus 544 new listings in Tarrant County. Sellers who adjust to today's markets are finding buyers. Buyers have more leverage than they've enjoyed in several years. Mansfield, we're still talking about the community expanding outward and outperforming. Mansfield remains one of Southern Tarrant County's strongest resale markets, supported by quality schools, continued commercial investment, limited resale inventory in many established neighborhoods. Buyers continue seeking move-in ready homes over waiting for new construction. Parker and Wise and Westaplex, buyers continue trading commute for lifestyles. Communities west of Fort Worth are attracting buyers looking for larger lots, newer homes, more value for the money. As infrastructure improves and growth continues west, these areas remain popular with move-up buyers seeking space without leaving the metroplex. Here's your prompt. Help me explain the difference between today's DFW market and the market from 2 years ago. How should buyers and sellers adjust their expectations before making a move? We're going to talk about this because this is Clarissa's view, and I don't see Clarissa on, but I do see Patty, and I think I see 5 others, but I don't know who all is underneath that tab. There's Patty. I see Brian. I see you, bud.
Rachel.
Oh, Rachel Dusko's there. Hi, Rachel. Okay, so here is the market pulse. Look at your county. Kind of get just an idea that green line is so much smaller than that pink line, which means that the pink line is the price reductions that we're seeing. Now, one other thing that we actually need to look at on this slide
It kind of makes sense though.
is we want to look at that red line. Look at those back on the markets.
Back one?
Back on the market.
I hear a lot of chatter about that.
Well, here's what's going. Buyers are saying no more often, and that's helping. What's Tillier's fear? Higher back on market numbers remind us that today's buyers are negotiating carefully. Inspections, financing, contract details matter more than they did a few years ago. Preparation helps deals stay together. The market is still producing thousands of successful closings. Even with more negotiations and price adjustments, thousands of homes are moving from contract to closing every week. Buyers haven't disappeared. They're simply making more deliberate decisions. I had a client yesterday who actually negotiated from a 450 down to 390, and then she wouldn't sign the offer because the house had retaining walls, and she didn't want to deal with it and doesn't have to. She's
Is this new construction?
no 25-year-old house.
Retaining walls are.
They were in good shape, but it was just her thing. Her thing was like, there's plenty of things for me to look at. I don't have to take this one, even though I just negotiated literally almost 20% off of the house, at least 10%.
An informed buyer.
How many days on market?
That one's going to market about 50. but they were priced high in a neighborhood. It's very desirable neighborhood off Roof Snow,
Yeah.
on the north side.
Yeah.
Stony Brook.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so, help me explain why today's market requires better preparation from both buyers and sellers. What can each do before listing or making an offer to improve their chances of getting to the closing table? Here's our local, I've changed this slide, okay? Because this used to be about the builders, but the builders are doing pretty much the same thing week after week. And I wanted to focus this not only on the builders, but on development. Where is infrastructure coming? What is going on in business world? So I've changed the slide. Southeast Fort Worth, another major growth corridor is taking shape. Fort Worth developer has proposed an 111-acre mixed-use project near Chisholm Trail and Tarleton State's Fort Worth campus. Plans include retail, grocery store, medical facilities, and a future hospital. Another sign that developers continue investing in areas expected to see long-term residential growth. So Chisholm Trail all the way to Cleveland has got a lot of land that's very developable. And so we're going to start seeing that move. That's a good word.
Developable,
Uh-huh.
yeah. I get it.
It's a word.
I know.
I know, it gets expensive, doesn't it?
It does.
Fort Worthers are finding how future development happens. Rather than simply approving every project, Fort Worth is continuing its public process on data center regulations, focusing on neighborhood compatibility, infrastructure, noise, and utilities. Growth isn't slowing, it's becoming more intentional. Healthcare investment continues to strengthen Central Fort Worth. Texas Health announced a major expansion of its Fort Worth campus, adding a new women's and infant services and reserving additional space for future growth. Hospital expansions don't just improve healthcare, they often support nearby housing demand, employment, and surrounding commercial investment. Misty had a great idea this week. She's like, we need a menopause house, just like the Six Staff house, and it's all under one shop. You've got a massage therapist, a doctor, an HRT,
Botox.
yeah, all of
All
it.
the
It's a
things.
woman's
For the
center
woman.
where menopause can be talked about and somebody who knows what the heck they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? I was like, that's a great idea. You got 2 million? And a doctor that can actually prescribe it,
All
because
the
we can't find
things.
anybody
We
that
need all
knows
the
what we're talking about.
All kinds of things.
Let me explain to a client how to look beyond the house itself and evaluate an area's future. What questions should we ask about planned development, infrastructure, employers, healthcare, and commercial investment before deciding where to buy? Great little prompt there for AI. So let's move into what we have finished. So I'm going to hit the slides first, and then we're going to go into practice, get our hands dirty a little bit if you want to. Here's the bottom line. Each week, we aren't trying to build a new business here. We're trying to remove one obstacle, make one better decision, develop one better habit, have one better conversation, and have one less bottleneck. This is how we become irreplaceable. We are here to make judgment, we can interpret data. What we're seeing is AI, and this is last week's thing, but what we're seeing is so many buyers and sellers are going to AI, and they're going to have an idea about what you're going to tell them if you go on a listing appointment or a buyer appointment. They already know. What they need is for you to interpret the data. It's our judgment that's going to separate us and make us irreplaceable. Yes,
Can I
ma'am?
share something?
Absolutely. I'm going to share something you shared. What you showed me earlier?
Well, no, I was gonna share something else.
Okay.
My East Texas property had a formal appraisal done, and of course, did not go with said price. I know that shocks all of you. And so, that was gonna be a big component, this piece of property takes time to sell, a very specific buyer. So anyways, last week, we've done the videos, we've done the professional pictures, we've got all the reports set up, we're talking and we're chatting, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what can I do to like really hit home with this guy? Right. And so I take the full appraisal, the Zillow snapshot, the list tracks, all this stuff, and I compile it. I'm like, give me a 30-day marketing plan, give realistic goals of when and where we can find a buyer, how long it takes, blah, blah, blah. It spit out a 3-page marketing report, basically telling my client, if you want this sold in 3 months, this is your marketing plan. This is what you do. You price that. If you want it sold in 6 months, this is what you do. If you want it 9 months, here's what you need to be doing. And this week we checked in with him. He was like, reduce it by 50,000. And I was like, done.
Great.
I mean,
Hey,
it was like,
assistant.
it was, well, because he was like, basically Claude's like, you're 12% over market value. Here's what you're going to get from the internet. This is what the internet is telling you. This is what MLS is telling you, whatever. And it was like, I mean, it was just like, I didn't have to just sit there and go, you know, and try to be creative in a way of going, you're overpriced, you know what I mean? Yeah, and you know, we talked about, and I did include all the tools that we had already done for it, and then tools that we could implement, you know, that we like what we've done, and then tools that we will continue to implement, and weekly things that we would do to drive business. But ultimately, we needed him to like step in and do the right thing.
It's
to
time
make it.
and money.
So yeah, so it
Time
was just
versus money.
yeah, but so many times I just, you know, people, I can tell them those things, but when I go and pull all that data from the internet, from all these different sources, because it's all sourced on there.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, now you're reading stuff from Realtor, Zillow, NAR. I mean, like it has quotes it. Yeah. And it quotes it. And I'm like, I pulled in your appraisal, this, that. And it's like, you can't argue with it.
How long did that hold? 2 minutes.
I would say from downloading all the stuff, I mean, probably 20 minutes, but yeah, literally like done.
That's
Well,
great.
but you had the intuition what to pull and also what to
Yeah,
promise.
absolutely.
You
had something that you could show him.
As a listing
Yeah,
agent, you have that data.
Yeah.
I mean,
In fact, I would almost encourage you to do it pre-listing. To be like, here's your 30, 60, 90-day marketing plan.
Absolutely.
If you list here, and this is what the results.
Absolutely.
And then when you get to 30 days and they have no traffic, you're like, yeah, I gave you that before.
Mhm.
Because that is what you're combating now with sellers is just, you know, you're seeing the price adjustments. That's what's going on.
Yep. Okay, so the last 2 weeks, since July 1st, this whole month, I guess, we've spent on these three things. So if you mapped your business, you know where your business came from. If you haven't done that, you can scan that QR code and map your business. And then we asked you to find your bottleneck. And I'm going to share, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, but, well, I mean, it's both of us.
Well, I understand, but you posted it. So I took your words. This is what happened to Tasha. She shared her bottleneck with us, and it told her that she needed to ask for direct business. And she said it's been a tremendous response. Here is one of the responses. So I'm gonna let you kind of talk about this for a second, if you don't mind. Tell us what you guys did and what the response, both of you.
I mean, we have a tremendous, I would say, network of people that love and trust us. So we should be killing it. But I think that we are very conservative in not being sales. We want to be valuable, but we don't want to be pushy. And I think that was probably a weakness of both of us. And so, you know, of course, she did AI, I did AI, and I'm kind of like, I mean, it was a little bit different in the way it spit it out, but basically it's like, you already have people who love and trust you, you just need to go ask. So for about the last 2.5, 3 weeks, we've been sending out and we're going to actually curb it today for like more personal relationships, because like Mr. Jones, I sold him an impression home, and Justin he was a lender lead or whatever. And I mean, I kept up with him through the years or whatever, but I mean, not like a personal friend. So we're going to kind of curb formulate another text message that would really be like your inner sphere.
Smaller.
Because you don't want people to be like, that was.
Yeah. One of my best friends, they'd be like, I mean, I popped in your head.
Yeah.
You know? But I mean, so we send one text out a day. Like every morning, there's one scheduled midday. So, you know, you're going to get a response, not busy, but they're at work or whatever. And I think out of maybe 15 people, I've had 2 not respond, but everyone I respond to, or everyone that responds to me is like, of course, no, without a doubt. Like we would always.
But it's also spurred some other conversations. Like one of my clients were like, of course, you're always our person one that we're really happy where we're actually about to build a pool. Do you have a pool recommendation? So it was just another added value there, even though they're not personally looking. So it's just been also a conversation starter to help them with those type of things.
Okay, that's great. That's fantastic news, and thank you for sharing that. I was real happy to see that.
Yeah.
I hope that more people will do that. Again, what we're trying to do here is one better conversation, one better habit, one better result. If we just do the small things, the small habits, those will turn into business in the future. But everything we do today is how far away? 90 days, 90 to 120 days. So you've got to be proactive about it all the time. An agent that's sitting in this room a couple of months ago said, man, I'm really, really busy. And I'm afraid that I'm forgetting to do some things that I need to do.
Are you calling yourself out?
Tell me.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of like getting lost in the systems that you do Monday through Thursday, right? It's kind of just getting sunk in with the current business.
Mhm.
Yeah, just making time and disciplining myself, prepare for the next 90 days. So
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what my bottleneck came.
yeah, I was
from.
gonna say that, I mean, I know the people that know me well know that I am very inconsistent in everything I do. I'm working on that, but like, we do an email every other week and most of it's AI. I mean, I put down a few thoughts, like we went and sent one out last week and it was about like the growth of the Western Pike, what that looks like in business, da. And so like that has become a thing. And I mean, just those little things. So like we've already planned out fall. Like I know one of the big real estate gurus I follow, I think he's with EXP, were like the really three things that people really care about getting from you, clients, are like vendor list, their value, and I can't remember the third thing. So like I was like, we're gonna set up a fall vendor list, like to service your house prior to.
Right.
Clean your gutters
Yeah.
and do all the,
But
yeah.
definitely, yeah, it's consistency, whatever.
Yeah.
That's
And I'm horrible at it.
But again, let's go back to what we've been talking about. This is all about habits, attitude, and skill. All of us have the skill, and all of us have the attitude that we want to be busy. What we don't have is the habits, and it's setting those things on the calendar and not letting them move. That's the hard part. I'm just going to be straight up honest with you, because if you're in the middle of a negotiation and you're negotiating back and forth and you're talking to the lender and talking to the buyer's agent or the seller's agent, and you're doing all these things, and you look at your calendar, you're like, crap, I got to send out a text message. You got to plan ahead for these things and move them around if you need to, but they always stay on the same day.
But it goes back to
Casualty
mindset.
text.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I sit in my bed, I know I'm old and boring, but when I get in bed at 9 o'clock, I sit and schedule text out for the next day. And I pick at like 1:11 p.m. tomorrow.
Mhm.
We're gonna start sending them out.
That's
And
great.
then,
Yeah.
of course, I'm always confused the next day when people start.
Did I text you?
Yeah. But going back, can I just say one thing? Because
Yes. of
it's
course.
not only business, but we've been talking a lot just personally. It does go back to the mindset, because I obviously want to be busy, but until you switch your mindset and saying, no, like that day where we were like, oh my gosh, you need to show us. I haven't done any of this, because that's the day that I decided, I was like, you know what? She's gonna sit down and freaking do it, because I need to. And it's totally a mindset. Of course I would be busy. Of course,
do it.
yeah, of course I'm like, oh yeah, I could be busy, like, but it's actually the mindset.
And I know that you make fun of me for listening to audiobooks, like Selling Sirhan or Sold to Be Done. But even if I'm not really reading the whole book and processing it, some mornings, if I just get up and put that on the car, that gives me one positive step in the right direction that day, I'm like, okay, cool, I got this. So that's why a lot of times I'll listen to those audiobooks in my car. It's just because I'm like, I know I have a shitty attitude.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so all these things being done, what we talked about. So I want to take you back to last fall. We went through small sets, big results. And then we did your guide to Texas real estate, and then we did a replaceable agent. If you want to have some fun, go back to small sets, big results and start running through it like Jenny Marsh is doing.
That's what I'm doing right now.
And look, and you don't have to do every single thing that's in the
Yeah.
program. Pick the ones that work for you. But there are 36 calendar events that you can put on your calendar to do every single week. You can be as busy as you want to be. And here's the secret to real estate. The busier you get, the busier you get. The more that you're active, doing proactive things, I promise the more that you're consistent with it, you will get busier and busier and busier to the point where you want to be. Okay. And then you have to make a decision of, I want to work smarter, not harder. And that's the perfect place that you want to be. The same thing happened to me in 2016, 2017, when I was doing 77 transactions. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I haven't seen my wife in 4 months because I was showing houses every single day. I was listing houses every single day. I didn't get weekends off. And so that's when I switched my mindset and started developing the mindset, the philosophy of what these programs are. It's to help you. You can build to that point. That's where you want to be at the maximum capacity. And then you can back it off a little bit. And then you enjoy real estate instead of just doing it all the time. But be proactive. I love that you're taking notes. That makes me feel so happy. I'm glad you decided to take that, because I remember the day that you were sitting there.
Yeah.
You're like, you got to walk us through this.
Yeah.
And so that's why I switched what I'm doing. And I'm so happy, Taja, that you took the initiative to do these things, Holly, do these things. This is what will generate your business, for sure.
I just know right now it's such, I know everybody wants to be lazy and title over, but I know from just the years that I've sold real estate, some of my biggest closing months are November and December. And I know that if I'm not doing something right now, I can text for my pool on a Saturday underneath my umbrella.
Yeah.
Just to get in touch with people. But I know this time of year is pivotal to the.
Well, and I will tell you, I'm gonna tell on us.
Oh,
Yeah.
do you want to say that? Myself?
I was thinking last Friday when I was getting ready to go do something or whatever, I was like, I should have done an open house this weekend. It'd have been a perfect opportunity, not even on my own listings, just, I should have done one. And I was like, it's Friday, it's already too late, whatever. When we talked on Monday, I was like, okay, we have got to do an open house. We should have done one this, we should have,
When's the last time I think I did one the end of.
I would encourage you, I know it's hot right now and you may not get a lot of people out just walking around, but once we start getting cool weather in mid-September, I encourage everybody to do an open house at least once a month.
I think we're gonna do one next week. If anybody in the office wants to like collaborate marketing to do like a back to school one, because next week is August 8th, everybody starts around the 12th or 13th. But we could do like, if everybody kind of wants to collectively get in front of it.
I can talk about that next Wednesday. You and Andrew are leading the meeting next week.
I won't be here.
Okay. Yeah, again, just everybody remembers, we're not meeting next week. So here's the summary of what we talked about. 6 weeks ago, AI didn't know your business. Today, if you're running your moves, AI understands where your business comes from, what slows it down, and what deserves your attention next. That's the difference between using AI and working with AI. I'm going to move over and we are going to go back over to, for 10 minutes, we're just going to really quickly talk about this, make sure that everything's working. If I can't, my mouse is driving me nuts, y'all. Okay, let's try to present something else. And we want to go here. Okay, so this is what the move looks like for this week, actually for 2 weeks ago, but now this is where you are. If you've mapped your business or your sphere and you found your bottleneck, load those back in here, load the document that you got and put it into my next 90 days and then talk to, you can, I did put in where you could upload. Last week, somebody mentioned that you couldn't. All of our moves now have the upload feature and they also have the speak feature. So this quad right here will actually walk you through, if you put in where your business came from, what your bottleneck is, what your next 90 days needs to look like.
that's what we did.
This is what you did.
And that's what it told us, that
You did the first two,
Yeah.
and then you put them here. That was the whole point, was that these three work together. Going into the fall, I'm probably going to do a move about every 2
I
weeks.
feel like it wanted to say something ugly back to me, like you're a weenie.
I bet it didn't. But even if you don't put anything in there, if you just tell it how many transactions you got, you should be able to hit build my 90-day plan, and it should build something. It may tell me that it needs more information. Yeah, see, it says your plan isn't quite ready. Let's talk about it a little more. What do we want to say? Let's confuse it. Good to have you here. Let's figure out what your next 90 days should actually be about. And I told her that I've done 1 to 5 transactions in the past year. What's the one thing you feel like you keep meaning to get to but haven't?
Video content.
More video content. Like
I feel like that I don't get enough video content and out to my sphere of influence. I feel like I don't post enough on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, and that's really my shortcoming. So it does. Got it. So content and staying visible to your sphere feels like the gap. When you show up on social, what tends to stop you from doing it consistently?
Probably just the fear of, I would say fear of not getting engagement or
I'm self-critical.
being critical of yourself.
Okay.
How I like
Let me
look at it. I don't
clarify.
look where I'm like, I don't look.
I'm very self-critical about myself, and I feel like I'm not going to get enough. What was engagement with my sphere of influence? That's honest and really common. So when you imagine posting something and it's quiet, what does that mean to you?
I had a bad hair day.
Just say it wasn't valuable information.
Okay. I would feel like that it's not valuable information or that it didn't resonate with my sphere or the people that were seeing it. That makes sense. So the fear isn't really about the video. It's about what silence might mean about you. Quick questions. How are you actually talking to people in your sphere right now outside of social media?
It goes right back to direct conversation.
And then that's what ours was.
Okay, I'm gonna see if that's enough. Let's see if it'll build a plan. I think it's working. It takes a minute. Boom, okay, here it is. Let's see what it says. Okay, so here is then my next 90 days based on the conversation we just had. With 1 to 5 closings over the past 12 months, visibility to your existing sphere is the highest leverage move. You name it yourself as a thing you keep meaning to do but haven't. By day 90, you have posted at least once a week for 12 consecutive weeks and have had at least 10 real conversations with sphere contacts without waiting to feel ready. Here's day 1. Pick one format you can tolerate, a 60-second phone recorded video or even a voice note turned into a post, and post it once this week, imperfect, on purpose. Days 31 through 60, post once a week on the same day. Follow each post with 2 direct messages to sphere members, not a pitch, just a check-in. Days 61 to 90, look at which posts or conversations led to any reply, copy, or referral conversation. Do more of that. Drop what felt forced. Weekly move, 1 post, 2 messages to spheres, same day every week. Simple scorecard. Post published this week. Direct sphere conversations this month. Protect this plan from waiting until the content feels good enough. Self-criticism is the most likely reason this stalls before week 3. Then I'm making it so that you guys can save this as a PDF, save it as Word, or actually just copy the entire content. And that way, if you're running a note application or something, you can copy it right into that. When you do the moves, at the bottom, there's a red button that says I did it. Please, please. I'm basing what we need to learn or talk about over the fall based on the comments that we leave in I did it. And it can be anonymous or you can leave your name. I don't care. Nobody else sees it except me. Nobody else will see it at all. Huh?
I think I've done it every time.
Well, if you can, if you have a reflection, that's basically what that's for. Is if you have something to tell me, please tell me at that point, because that will help us kind of get the fall where we're going to go. I think we've hit AI as hard as we need to. In August, we're probably not going to be doing that because Jamie's got his thing on the 19th. So that means we only have 2 weeks that we're going to be not talking about AI, the 12th and the 26th. So I don't know what I'm going to teach on those at this point. We may just have conversations, basically a mastermind, where we can sit and talk about the things that we're doing, things that are working, things that are not working. That may be what we do. We may have Jimmy actually come in and do wins and lessons, mistakes and shout outs on the 26th. So that's all everything that I've got for today. I hope that you enjoyed it. Patty, Brian, Rachel, everybody else online, Angela, thank you guys for joining. Anybody have comments, questions? Please feel free. Brian and I had a conversation yesterday, and he's going to an appraisal conference the middle of August, and he's going to check to see if anything that we need to know about. We just talked about the fact that we need to stay in front of the new appraisals that's coming out. Brian, I want to share just brief information. The current appraisals that we're getting is what everybody's used to doing. No big deal. They order an appraisal, they get it pushed. If they order one of the new appraisals, it's taking the appraiser 12, sometimes 8 to 12 hours to do one. And so they're much slower. And we think that there could be kind of a bottleneck when they switch over. And it's literally going to be a flip of switch and everybody has to use this new appraisal that's coming out. And the appraisal, Brian pointed out that he had a pre-listing appraisal done on a piece of land or a property. And the guy showed up with a clipboard to do his appraisal. And Brian was like, dude, get into the 2000s. It's time to be moving ahead, especially with those kind of people trying to do this new appraisal. We could have things being delayed and slowed down based on that. But Brian is monitoring that situation for us so that we can stay ahead. That way we'll know what we need to do in a transaction if an appraisal is ordered we set the expectations of, hey, this could take a little bit longer than it used to. So is that good? Is that fair, Brian?
That's one, that's the right on there.
Sorry, hey, yeah, you there? I was trying to unmute. Another comment on that. It's actually like November 1 is the hard date where we got to start doing the 3.6, but it's really going to hit September 1 because the life of that appraisal needs to be complete before November 1. So it's really September 1 is when, even though the official posted, date for the new appraisals are November 1, it's really going to be September 1 where the floodgates are going to open, just to give those appraisals time to completely process through the system and be finished before that November 1. So we're going to start seeing a lot of the new appraisals and potential bottlenecking even in September.
Okay, thank you for that, Brian. And yeah, I look forward to your comments. Maybe you can kind of give a brief update on the 26th of what you learned at that conference. That might be good so that we can everybody can stay afloat of what's going on, be ahead of the game. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate you, everybody, for being here. Victoria, don't forget you got 4 checks back there. And everybody else I texted yesterday that has mail here. Danielle had something. Jana has something. Clarissa, good grief. Maria's supposed to be here today. Make sure to come by later. Anyway, that's all I have for today. I will see you guys post vacation. While I'm gone, please take it to Slack first. We have subject matter experts like Taja and Holly and Jenna and Maria and Jimmy that are all monitoring Slack all the time. So if you have a problem, take it to Slack to the guys channel first. I will be monitoring as I have time, but I literally am going to try to take a vacation. I'm tired and I just need just a little bit of break. Just a week, okay? Like 10 days. 10 days. That's it. Bye, y'all.
5, she's trying to figure out what she goes, this is what she's thinking, with the dark, downspouts and gutters. But I like
Gray or the black?
this is what she wants, is the gray. It's a gray and black.